and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go over the basics for Google Forms. So if you've never used Google Forms, this is a great place to start. So you want to go into your Google Drive. You're going to go more options at the bottom, and then you're going to click on Google Form. And then I'm just starting with a blank form. So here's the blank form I have. I start with giving it a name. This one I am going to use for my attendance. So I plan to have the students check in. It doesn't matter whether I'm remote teaching or in the classroom. I'm going to have them check in with me through this Google form every single day. And I like to put, for the description, I like to make sure to remind them to press submit. If you don't press submit at the end of the form, you lose all your answers, and that's not fun. If you click up here after you've updated this, it will give it the same name here. So first question, I would like them to enter their first name, and it's going to recognize that it's probably a short answer, and that's what I want. Down here at the bottom, I want it to be required. And the reason I ask for first name and also last name, even though it's gathering their email addresses, is when I gather my data at the end, I can sort it by name, I can sort it by first name, I can sort it by last name, I can sort it by all kinds of different stuff. So now it's required they have to put in their first name. Off to this side, I'm going to hit the plus. Now I want to ask for their last name. And again, it recognized it's a short answer, and I'm going to make it required. The next thing I like to do is add a section for them. This just helps with sorting my data as a high school teacher. What period do you have, Mrs. Tarleton? I do not say geometry or whatever because sometimes they still get confused. Or what period do you have me? They get confused. So multiple choice. And option 1, we type in period 1. I'm not sure which period I have a conference period. So one of these I will not be teaching, and I'm not sure which one. So say once I find out, I can come back and edit this form. Say it's period 3. Over here, this X, that will get rid of period 3, leaves all my other options. Again, I want to make it required. I also want to ask them, how are they feeling today? This will give me a good idea of the mood of the class, and this is helpful whether I'm in the class or teaching remotely. This one I will also make required. If for some reason I don't like this question, I can come right here and delete it. If I want to have those same options, or I want a lot of elements from this one slide to be duplicated for a next question, so if you're creating a quiz, you would just here and duplicate. This is where you want to import questions. If you were creating a quiz, you would import the questions here. This is where you add a title, text, description. If you want to add an image, you can click on the side here or right here. You can add an image. It will show up small, but as soon as you click on it when you're in the form, it will get bigger. If you want to add a video, you can do that. If you want to create another section, which I will cover in more detail in the next video, but that's where you do that. These 3 dots allow you to skip based on your answer. So if you wanted to ask more information based on this, so man, I'm okay, and you want to skip to another section, this is where you would do that. So there's my Google form. I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to collect the email addresses of my students. I want them to only respond once per day. And this is other features that you can have. Show a progress bar if you want, shuffle the questions if you want to do a test. If you're going to do a quiz, you have more options as far as creating a quiz over here. So I'm good with that. So then I go here and I click send. I usually just grab this link right here and I shorten it. Now I've got a short URL. I copy it and I would paste it in an email, in Google Classroom, whatever learning management system you have, and my students will come in and answer this Google form. So now you have sent out your link. Your students will now complete the form. If you want to see it from your student's perspective, this eyeball right here will show you exactly what it will look like. The other option is to copy and paste that link into a browser, and that'll take you to the same spot. If you are in the view portion, not the creation, we were in the creation earlier, how you create the form, but this is the view of the form, and you want to get back to creation, this pencil right here, this is edit. This will take you back to the editing. That's the creating part. This is actually completing the form. Click this pencil and it will take you back to the editing mode. That is true even if you log in as a student. So over here, I've copy and pasted the URL, and this is what the form will look like to your students. And because your students won't be able to have this, your students won't have this here, this pencil to edit, but because you are the owner, anytime you are in the form, you just click here and it will take you back to editing because you're the owner of this form. Once your students start responding, you're going to see up here at the top, you have your questions. That's what this is. And your responses will show up here. Once you have responses, so up here at the top, you have questions, and then you have your responses. Once you have your responses, you will see a number here. You can look at each individual question, or you can look at each individual's response. This right here, this green present looking thing, is where you're going to click, and that will generate your spreadsheet with all of your data. Here is some sample data that I've gathered, and notice on the left side you have a timestamp of exactly the date and time the person responded, and then you will have all your other questions being answered. This is a spreadsheet, so you can sort the data however you see fit.